Lone Russian soldier eliminates Ukrainian troops as drone strike finishes other Ukrainian troops. A Russian serviceman from the southern group of forces carried out a solo assault against Ukrainian defensive positions during a frontline engagement, according to Russian military sources. Operating alone, the soldier reportedly advanced toward a Ukrainian-held position while using the terrain for cover to avoid detection. After locating the opposing troops, he opened fire with aimed rifle shots, engaging the Ukrainian soldiers at close range. Russians stated that the attack resulted in the elimination of the Ukrainian personnel defending the position. The encounter highlights the close-quarters nature of fighting that continues along parts of the front line, where small infantry units often conduct reconnaissance and assault missions against entrenched defensive positions. In a separate incident, Russian forces reportedly detected a group of Ukrainian soldiers moving through the battlefield while carrying out a mission. Surveillance assets monitored the troops and relayed their location to nearby Russian units. Moments later, Russian drone operators launched an attack using strike UAVs against the identified targets. According to Russian military reports, several Ukrainian soldiers were hit during the drone strike, preventing them from completing their movement. Russian drone blitz destroys Ukrainian UAV bases, artillery and armored vehicles as Russian flag raised in Piskanovka. Russian forces carried out a series of coordinated drone operations across several sectors of the front, targeting Ukrainian command posts, artillery positions, armored vehicles, communications equipment, and troop shelters. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense, reconnaissance drones, strike UAVs, and frontline assault units from the Sever, Vostok, Center, and Yasnaya, South, groups of forces conducted precision attacks that supported ongoing offensive operations in the Krasny Lyman, Zaporozhye, Dobropoli, and Donetsk directions. The reported operations illustrate the increasingly central role of unmanned aerial systems in modern battlefield tactics, where reconnaissance drones locate targets, relay real-time intelligence, and guide precision strikes carried out by artillery, attack drones, and assault units. Supercam drone guides artillery strike in Krasny Lyman direction. One of the operations was conducted by a Supercam reconnaissance drone team supporting Russian forces in the Krasny Lyman direction. According to Russian military officials, the drone crew detected a concealed Ukrainian UAV command post responsible for coordinating reconnaissance and strike drone operations. After confirming the target's exact location, the Supercam transmitted precise coordinates to nearby artillery batteries. Within minutes, Russian artillery opened fire on the identified position. Military officials reported that accurate artillery fire destroyed the Ukrainian drone command facility, disrupting enemy aerial reconnaissance and reducing its ability to coordinate artillery correction missions. The operation demonstrated the growing integration between reconnaissance UAVs and artillery units, allowing targets to be identified, tracked, and engaged within a very short period. Attack drones eliminate shelters and troops. In another engagement near the outskirts of Krasny Lyman, Russian strike drone operators launched attacks against Ukrainian defensive positions. Reconnaissance assets reportedly identified several concealed shelters occupied by Ukrainian personnel. Strike UAV operators then directed explosive-equipped drones toward the fortified positions. Russian sources stated that multiple shelters were destroyed during the attack while Ukrainian personnel occupying the positions were neutralized. The operation was intended to weaken frontline defenses before the possible advance of Russian ground assault units. Drone strikes against dugouts and temporary shelters have become increasingly common because they allow operators to engage protected positions without exposing infantry to direct combat. Sever Group destroys Starlink terminals. Elsewhere in the Special Military Operations Zone, drone operators from the Sever Group of forces targeted Ukrainian communications infrastructure. Russian military officials reported locating several Starlink user terminals being used by Ukrainian forces for battlefield communications and drone coordination. After identifying the equipment, Russian strike drones attacked the positions. According to official reports, the Starlink terminals were destroyed together with a nearby Ukrainian stronghold supporting frontline operations. Russian commanders have repeatedly emphasized attacks against communications equipment as part of broader efforts to disrupt battlefield coordination and reduce the effectiveness of Ukrainian drone operations. Vostok Group hunts enemy artillery. In the Zaporozhye region, strike drone operators from the Vostok Group of forces carried out precision attacks against Ukrainian artillery positions. Reconnaissance drones reportedly detected enemy guns operating from concealed firing positions. The coordinates were transmitted directly to strike UAV operators, who launched attacks against the artillery systems. Russian military officials stated that the enemy artillery pieces were successfully destroyed before they could relocate to alternate firing positions. Counter-battery operations using drones have become increasingly important because they allow artillery systems to be detected and engaged much faster than conventional reconnaissance methods. Center group drones strike multiple targets. On the Dobropoli direction, unmanned aerial units of the Center group of forces carried out another series of precision attacks. According to Russian military reports, drone operators identified several high-value Ukrainian military assets, including an armored vehicle, a heavy hexacopter drone, a UAV command post, and concentrations of personnel. Following target confirmation, strike drones attacked each objective individually. Russian officials stated that the armored vehicle was destroyed, the heavy drone was eliminated before it could conduct operations, the UAV command post was disabled, and Ukrainian personnel positioned nearby were neutralized. The mission demonstrated the flexibility of modern strike drones, which are capable of engaging both vehicles and stationary command facilities during a single operation. Reconnaissance and strike drones shaped the battlefield. Throughout the conflict, Russian forces have steadily expanded the use of unmanned aerial vehicles for reconnaissance, surveillance, target acquisition, artillery correction, and direct attack missions. Reconnaissance UAVs continuously monitor the battlefield, identifying troop movements, concealed firing positions, logistics routes, and command centers. Once targets are located, their coordinates can immediately be transmitted to artillery batteries, rocket launchers, combat aircraft, or strike drone crews. This rapid exchange of information significantly shortens the time between target detection and engagement, making it increasingly difficult for opposing forces to relocate before coming under attack. Military analysts have noted that the widespread employment of drones has transformed modern warfare by increasing battlefield awareness and improving the accuracy of indirect fire. Coordinated operations across multiple fronts. The reported operations in the Krasny Lyman, Zaporizhzhia, and Dobropoli directions illustrate the growing level of coordination between reconnaissance assets, strike drones, artillery units, and frontline assault formations. Rather than relying on isolated attacks, Russian forces increasingly conduct integrated operations in which reconnaissance drones identify targets, strike UAVs eliminate exposed personnel or equipment, and artillery suppresses larger defensive positions before ground units advance. Such coordination is intended to reduce casualties among assault troops while maintaining continuous pressure on enemy defensive lines. Russian flag raised in Piskanovka. In a separate development, Russian military sources reported that soldiers of the Yasnaya, South, group of forces raised the Russian national flag in the settlement of Piskanovka. According to official statements, the action followed continued offensive operations conducted by Russian assault units as part of ongoing efforts to expand control in the Donetsk People's Republic. Russian officials described the raising of the flag as a symbolic indication that the settlement had come under Russian control following combat operations in the area. The Yasnaya group of forces stated that it continues offensive missions aimed at securing additional settlements while pushing Ukrainian forces from fortified positions across the Donetsk sector.